Greetings, family. It's been a while. I have an interesting topic I want to talk about today. I came across a video where actually a sister sent it to me, and it was based on a conversation that we had had previously. And it was a sister who is from the continent that has lived in the West that was talking about African men, basically saying that African men were bad in bed. And then I saw another video, a TikTok video, where a brother from the States was giving instruction on how to stroke. And what made the video so funny was that there was another brother taking notes, like, okay, you mean I don't just hop on and, you know, like a wild rabbit, just slamming and banging? You mean there's emotion to it? I should be gentle. I should be concerned about how my mate is receiving these actions or this movement that I'm giving to her. So I wanted to talk about this because I've heard it over and over again. And you could take it a couple of different ways, right? Some people might look at it like they're horrible lovers, they're trash in bed, or they might look at it like maybe they're just inexperienced, or maybe they haven't been exposed to a lot of the things that take place in the West. I don't really know if that's good or bad, right? Depending on how you look at it. I will say this. We know that there's a lot of sexual behavior, a lot of promiscuity, what would be viewed as promiscuity. But there's also the notion of knowing how to please your lover and understanding the human body. And that's really what I want to talk about. This is not about how much sex you've had or how much sex you haven't had. It's really more about understanding the opposite sex's body. Whatever your partner is, man or woman, knowing that whatever you feel, your partner can feel that as well, right? Like, I don't know that men from the continent are aware that just like they can get aroused by looking at a woman can be aroused by looking at a man. Because we are physically structured differently does not mean we don't experience the same emotions, right? The other thing is many men that are able to be intimate with a woman and ejaculate, reach orgasm in that way, that doesn't work for everyone. Some men require more stimulation, right? Maybe they require massaging or talking, or sexy words or, enticing talk to get them aroused. But people don't know that unless they've experienced that. They might just think that something is wrong with them. There's also some men who don't like oral sex, right? There are some men who says, hey, it's cool, but it doesn't really do anything for me. There are other men who are like, oh, you gotta be crazy. Like, I love when my mate does that thing to me. It's the same thing with women, right? The difference is this, though. Because men are positioned externally, right? Their body parts are outside of their body, if you will, and women are internal. Sometimes a little extra may be required. Every woman does not orgasm through penetration, right? And those are your women who are like, listen, I need more. They may require direct contact with the clitoris in order to reach an orgasm. That doesn't necessarily mean oral sex. It could mean you wetting your finger and taking care of that, because we know not everyone is into oral sex. That is something that some people might view as repulsive. They may view it as a Western thing. You can label it any way you want, whatever floats your boat. It's different things for different people. But I think it's really important to understand that the human body is made up of so many sensual parts, right? Like your skin is sensual. Okay, your ears, your nose, your forehead, the nape of your neck, like there's parts of your body, your fingers, your toes, like there's all these parts of your body that you can make love to. And people are not aware of that because all they think about is what's below the waistline, right? And that's where we're talking about that sacral energy, that energy that comes from your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is where your sexual energy seems to boil or stir up, but your sacral energy is also where your creativity comes from. So if you're not having sex and giving in to that carnal feeling of just, I want to come, I want to bust a nut, I want to get one off. If you're not thinking about that, but you're taking that energy and you're doing something creative, that's also birthing something, that's creating something. And that type of energy is where your genius can come from. That's why you hear about some men who talk about retaining their semen, right? They don't want to orgasm. They want to reach that pleasure like right before, that feeling that comes right before orgasm, and they are able to not ejaculate because they know that every time you ejaculate, it affects the heart. But people don't know that, so they all about running around, sleeping with this one, sleeping with that one, not even realizing that there's an exchange of energy, right? Whether you're draining someone's energy or whether you're giving your energy, right? For women, we are taking in energy, right? You are taking in a part of everyone that you engage with. If it's your one mate, you're taking in your mate's energy, okay? If you've had multiple partners, you're taking in your partner's energy. And for the men, that exchange of energy is the same. Although it's external, you're still draining from your heart every time you release semen, every time you ejaculate. So I think it's important, if you are intimate with someone, you are a consenting adult, you are intimate, know your partner's body, know what excites them. Men like to have their nipples, fondled, massaged. Start off with something intimate other than having sex. That might help you know what your partner likes. A lot of times we put it on the men because, sisters will say, well, he just kind of jumped on me, did his thing, and he was done. He didn't care whether I was ready. He didn't care about my pleasure. But you can't expect someone to read your mind. So I think it's more about not so much being trash in bed, but about people really being inexperienced and just not knowing. I believe when you know better, you do better. So if you guys want to have more of these talks about sexuality, about positions, about what women find pleasurable, what they don't find pleasurable, we can have those talks. But I really wanted to talk about this fact that, it sounds so harsh to say like brothers are trash in bed. I think it's a better conversation to have. They may be inexperienced. And that we need to educate them on what we need to feel better, what we require. If you're allowing someone to climb on top of you and pound away and you're not speaking up, whose fault is that? This is supposed to be the person you care about, right? Tell them to slow down. Tell them let's arrive together, right? Tell them, let's let this be something where we're not just calling out each other's names, but we're manifesting. Like, that sexual energy can be used to do great things if couples are coming together in the right energy and the right spirit and under the right contract, right? And I'm talking about whether it's the marriage contract, you've decided to commit to each other, whatever that looks like. But we need to talk about sex because people are having sex. We can act like they're not, but we know people are having sex. And if they knew more about what they were doing, I think more people would take that final step and make it more serious and make it something that would be long lasting, and not look at it as something like, oh, I have a headache, right? Because we know men get headaches too. If the sex is trash with the woman, they may feel the same way. Oh, she's a pillow princess. All she does is lay there and expect me to do everything. It needs to be a mutual exchange, right? A reciprocation. So I hope you all are appreciating this. I'm going to wrap it up here, and I hope that you found this informative and that you do your little checklist on, am I handling my business the way I'm supposed to, right? Because it takes two to tangle. Blessings, family.